Ohayo gozaimasu. Ohayo. How we doing? Sorry, I'm a minute or so late. Rise up. Yeah, rise up. Get ready. Bit of a different stream today. um, we will be. Seems a bit strange. We will be doing some sharpening. Oh, that's the wrong. Maybe just leave it. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. We will be doing a little bit of sharpening this morning. I don't have the color blocks yet, the actual physical wood blocks. I don't have the blocks yet to proceed with the last print. Maybe if we have time at the end of the stream, we can take a little impression of that, maybe. I'm not sure how long this is going to take, but it's something I have to do. I've been putting it off a little bit. I've just been sharpening them one by one, but I think today I want to do a full sharpen of all my chisels. The chisels themselves don't take very long, the small little ice keys. Some of the other ones, we got to do a couple Maranomi. If we have time, maybe we'll move on and do some of the larger ones. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I hope everyone is doing well. It's Friday morning, and yeah, I don't have any notes for me today. I don't know what I'm supposed to talk about, but we'll get into it. Let's just get started. If we do completely run out of time, we can always move on to the bonsai. But let's switch over. The lighting. There's actually been some good chat in the Discord about some sharpening stuff. Viv KP said she was looking for a sharpening stone, but they're very expensive, which they can be. They don't have to be, though. They can be quite reasonably priced. I'm not sure about how that is in America and stuff. All these imported stones, they're probably hiked quite a bit. But you can see on the back of this one, I don't know if I showed it before. I originally, the bottom wasn't very flat, so I put it on a diamond stone and flattened the bottom a bit. It's not completely flat. But I can still see here that we got a 7. So this was 7,000 yen, which is really not very expensive for a sharpening stone. We will be working on this. I mentioned before about the sharpening stone that I was looking for a better one, which I am. I've been to a couple of shops, but haven't found the one. I want to drop like a considerable amount on it and get a really, really nice one. I haven't done much content on sharpening before. I'm competent at sharpening, but like with my carving, I feel like I have a fair degree and I could talk to at basically any level about carving techniques. In sharpening, my sharpening is very specific to this, and to in a sense teach this sort of stuff is a little bit like, am I the best person to be doing that? So but what I'm going to show you today is what I do. This is the way I was taught to do it, and I can sharpen. I have really sharp knives most of the time. Hopefully everything goes okay. I haven't really prepped anything. Do people go finding their own sharpening rocks? Not really, I don't think. Maybe some people do. I don't know. I don't. I certainly don't. I do. People do hunt around for certain stones. If you're looking at sort of a beginner stone, this is what this was. It's supposed to do me about 5 years, which it has. It's more than paid for itself at this point. They can get incredibly expensive, and it's a little bit tricky to know what you're looking for. For my personal experience, I've tried a few stones. Typically, you don't use other carvers' stones. Because you don't share stones. Asuka Sensei has 2 sharpening stones. One which is slightly cheaper, more this level, a little bit higher than this, I guess, and another that he uses exclusively for him. It's because of the divots it leaves. Like you don't flatten the stone every single time. Sometimes like you leave it for a session or two, like a day or two. Probably sometimes a little bit longer. And that means that it does develop a slight groove. And if you're using your knife on the same place every time, then it does level out. You want to keep your stones as flat as possible. But if you're passing it around to different students and stuff, that can get a little bit funky because people don't take care of the stones and they apply pressure in the wrong place, and it can really mess up the geometry of your knife. So, are we okay? Oh, it's not me, it's you. So yeah, we don't really share stones. Same as with the carving knives. Everyone who comes to his classroom, they buy their own carving knife. It's not that expensive, but we don't share carving knives. That's like a personal thing for a carver, and so is their stone, typically. In the future, I'll keep this one, and if I have some people here and I want to teach them how to do some sharpening stuff, I can use this one, and this will be like a general stone. So I planned this out a while ago. Typically, my preference is to, like, when I go for something, I know I'm quite a steady person, and so I like to buy the best thing straight away, and then I'll end up holding off for a long time because I can't afford that thing. But it just means that, you know, you're solid for it. Anyway, we're going to be doing a few things. Some of you might be disappointed. It depends how much time we have. I don't know if we're going to get to the kogatana, but we're going to start with the chisels because they're the ones I really need to do. Maybe later you can talk about how to choose a stone. The choices are bewildering. For me, I like to buy them in person. You can get really good deals on like auction sites and stuff. But there's something about buying it in person. For sharpening our tools, we don't need very big ones, so I can give you a quick rundown. What I'm looking for. I'm looking for a stone that's a little bit longer than this. This one is currently 140 mm. So I'm looking for a stone that's a little bit longer than this. It'll give me more room when I'm doing the big chisels. I'd like a stone that's a little bit longer, and this is about the right width. A lot of the dimensions of the stones, usually they're more of a squat rectangle, like more towards the cube, and it's really kind of a waste for us because I tend to use this section here up to here and this section up to here when I flip the stone around. So this middle section really doesn't get used as much, and when you're flattening it, you end up grinding down quite a bit. So I really don't want a wide stone. I want a narrow, slim stone. Something around the size of this shapton, which is, yeah, something about this. It doesn't need to be as long as this, but around this, maybe a bit thinner, maybe a bit shorter. That's what I'm personally looking for. And the color, there's a couple different like main types of colors. There's like the grey tone stones. It's actually like somewhere in this is my Nagara, but somewhere in here there's a type of stone that works quite well. These are Japanese stones, obviously. I don't have any experience with American or there was some talk about the slate stones we mentioned on a previous stream. I don't have any experience with that, so I'm not going to talk about that today. But for my preference, what I want is a stone that's yellowy orange like this, and I want it to be a much darker orange than I have here. That's my goal. And so there's quite a few parameters there. And I want as little defects in it. I want the color to be really harmonious, like all over the same deep orange. If there are some light patches, it's really difficult to find that, like all over really hard orange, deep orange. If there are some defects, it's okay. That's why I like to look at the stones in person. Yeah, you want to be careful with these cracks. This one, I don't know if you can see it. I can zoom in. Struggling a little bit. You can see there's like some crack lines, and I actually did have some separation on this stone when I was sharpening it down. At the start it was fine for a couple of years, and then after a while a piece sort of like slated off, which was not ideal. I had to grind it down loads to get back to a flat surface. Orangeness, in this particular stone, the more orange, the harder it is. I still have, hopefully, you still have no idea what you're doing with sharpening. Hopefully, at the end of this stream, you'll have a little bit better of an idea. Yeah, so orange on this particular, is it mineral? This stone is harder. This one is fine. It's a little bit soft, like, and at the beginning I couldn't tell much. It gives me nice sharp knives and nice sharp chisels, but it's not. I'm getting better, and my touch is better. I can see these nuances, and it's a little bit soft. I don't notice when I'm sharpening on flat things. When I have a small one and I like scratch across, sometimes I can feel that it's leaving a score mark, so that's not so good. The grit on these stones, I have no idea, but it's 10,000 plus. That's all I know. It's probably a lot higher. There are the old carvers who know, like, they like this particular sediment layer from this quarry. A lot of them come from Kyoto, in the mountains next to Kyoto. Hello, Bonsai Maverick, welcome in. So let's get to it. I flattened these before. I also have my Shaplins. These are ceramic stones. This is a 500. I'm not sure if I'd buy the 500 again. It's a good one. They don't have a 400. I wanted a 400. They do have a 300, and I thought that might be too gritty, so I got the 500. Some people were saying because it cuts really smooth, and they were telling me that they feel like a lower number than they are. I enjoy it. I moved to ceramic a little while ago because I was tired of having a bucket. My bucket kept going, sort of, the water was getting really manky. And so for like 4 years, I had my stone there, and I take it in and out, but you had to wait before. So often I just leave the stone in, and that's not so good for the stone. I do have my old setup here, which I can show you. Someone was asking about diamond stones. I once had to flatten the base of a plate. After about 4 hours of using sandpaper, I decided to give up. It's a town sander. Okay. Sandpaper is a mad idea. The way we flatten our stones usually is we find a nice piece of concrete that we know is flat. Usually it's a curb or something. The curb outside of Asuka Sensei's studio, if you've got like major flattening to do, the curb outside Asuka Sensei's studio is really smooth now. And then you just rub it on there. There are some things you can use to speed that along. I have some of this, which is like little metal sand that you put on the stones. I don't use this very often. This one's quite aggressive, and there is a finer one as well. So that's something you can use. Wonder why it's so smooth. Yeah, it's been used to flatten a lot of stones. The other thing you can do is you can use a diamond stone. They don't last very, very long. The grit sort of wears off them. I don't think... This is my old stone. You can see that it started to come off a little bit here. This is the very first one I bought. And you can see that this is the way I kept it. I kept it on top of my water box. We will get to some sharpening. Let's just do the preamble first. This is my old tap. Camera is approaching internal temperature. Maybe we need to put the AC on. I don't really need the AC, but I think my camera needs the AC, so let's put that on. This is my old tub. And I have... This is really, really cheap. It's a synthetic stone. I've used a fair bit. You can see it says King Deluxe. What is it? King Deluxe stone. King is the brand. These are really cheap. I think they cost like, that's kind of loud. Jesus. Shut them up there. Hopefully that cools the camera down. I'm sorry if it's a bit noisy. We'll crank it up to 28. Yeah. This is King. They're really cheap. I think it costs about 1,000 yen, something like that. Somewhere around there. 1,200 or something like that. So really, really, really cheap. These wear down really quickly. And I use the top end, not the flat, because like I said before, we really don't need it. I used to keep this on the floor. I sharpen. I'm not going to be doing any of the side sharpening today because I do that down here, and there's no real way without messing up my whole setup to do that. But yeah, these are, you can find these online really easy. King. These are great. These are the coarse. And I think this is 1,000. And then I got some little blocks in there to keep it at the right level. The terishiki is for underneath here, so this doesn't slip around on the bench. Same as a regular kitchen knife whetstone. Yeah. This is I think that's their main market. It's like kitchen knives for this. That's what I used to use, and then it wears out and makes grooves really quickly, so you have to constantly keep this one flat. The ceramic stones last much longer, and I really love them. They're they're pretty expensive, so I've only got 2, and I do have the stand. I have also a block that I can show you. So this goes on the ground, this goes on top, and then my stone blocks in here, and this goes down here. When I'm sharpening, I'm down over here. This is where I sharpen, and you can see that the setup is not really great for doing that. I will try and there is a way of doing it on the table. I'm not as practiced as that. I've got everything sort of locked in down here, so it feels a little bit weird to do it on camera up here. But that's how I sharpen that. Let's just move on. Maybe this is too boring for a lot of people. Some of you are going to find it interesting. We can just have some good chat. Wood, putting central heating, sludge in them. Would central heating would it stop the water from going bad? I don't know. It gets kind of mucky. Like the sediment from the stone, it's fine. If you wash your bucket out and clean it often, it's fine. But it's kind of a faff. But I did that for like 5 years. We're gonna build up some sludge. I just smooth this. Usually there's like a little bit of surface layer smudge on clay on this. So I'm going to do this a little bit more than I usually to build up a bit of a layer. Usually I only go a couple times with this just to build up a little bit of a layer. Really important. I might have mentioned this before, but rotating your nagara. So these stones are really hard, and so you don't actually, the stone itself is not doing most of the cutting. What's doing the cutting is the clay mostly. The stone is obviously doing some, but okay. How was the weather in Japan? I heard it was raining. Yeah, it was raining really heavily. Just started out of nowhere. That's what we want. It started out of nowhere, and like around 4 o'clock yesterday. I didn't really notice it. I was a bit surprised when I saw the news this morning that it'd been like flooding and stuff. Up here, it's fine. There's nothing around me. It's kind of cooler today, which is why I didn't have the AC on. Don't think we can keep the windows open because, well, they're not there, but there will be construction later, I guess. Here is the knives we're going to be doing. we're going to leave these. Maybe if we have time, we can do one. One of them isn't sharp. The other two are nice and sharp. I have a whole range. This is the smallest, and it goes to my largest ice key. And then I have two U-gouges, which we will do. One big, one small. And then I have a saw eye, which is slightly curved. This is just for clearing, smoothing out the bottoms and stuff. Oh, we didn't put music on. Chattamate. Okay. Did you sew this folding pouch? Yeah. Yeah, I needed a pouch to take to the kobo when I was going to Asuka Sensei's like every other day. So it rolls up like that. Typically, the advice is to put it in a hard case, like I have for my larger chisels. This is a biscuit tin from Dean and DeLuca. So a hard case is better. You gotta be careful. Metal is not the ideal. It should be a wooden one, because if you do tap the side and stuff, you can damage the tips. I don't think we'll get onto them because we're already the Borg. Yeah, let's get into this. We should start. We'll do these later. We'll start from the larger ice key. I have a little block of wood here to test if it's mini Borg. Is Borg a type of cookie? I'm not sure what a Borg is. I've heard the word, but I don't think I've ever had any. Your stones will become like us. Flat. Resistance is futile. So typically we're gonna... I'm not sure. So if you... Just a piece of advice, if you are planning to get some stones, I get diamond stone 400 and 1000. And I'd get the king 1000. I get the king 1000. That would be my advice to you. And a cheap finishing stone, preferably orange in color. You don't need to get the highest quality one, and you don't need to spend an absolute fortune up front. It's the higher level stones, they're like, you don't need them. You don't need them at the start. Trust me. When you get your eye in your hands in, you feel, you know. What do you think of oil stones? I have no experience with oil stones, so I can't really say anything about them. The only stones I have is whetstones, synthetic whetstones, natural whetstones, diamond, and ceramic. Those are the only ones I've really used. And of them, the whetstones, they're really nice. The diamond stones are really easy. And the ceramic ones are just... So you don't have to maintain them. It's really quickly to flatten them out as well. This is a little stone that I'm going to use to test if they need sharpening. And yeah, okay, we'll start there. I think I did sharpen one of these on stream before. Was that Billy? Yeah, Billy Holiday. The great things about these sharpeners is you don't have to soak them at all. You just splash a little bit of water on. Is that too bright? Is that better? I just noticed the notch in the table. This is for my chuck. And if any of you are on the Patreon and saw the video of me clearing, you'll notice that this came out a lot. I had it on a foam quilted pad, and so the block was a little bit higher, and it kept rocking like this and knocking this out. This table is made of purple heart. There's also been a lot of discussion about purple heart in the Discord, and you'll know that purple heart is very tough, and I don't want to ruin my chisels anymore trying to get down there. I had a couple of like circular bits, and then I was squaring it off with the chisels, but it's so difficult. Like at this depth now, I've got to a depth where it's like really, really difficult to take it any deeper. And if I could go a little bit deeper, I would. And I will at some point. I have a plan to like give this new legs and stuff. But it's a future goal. I would really like to just give this slab of purple heart to a carpenter and ask them to make me like a really sexy table. But I'm guessing that'd be very expensive. We got ads in 2 minutes. So I made this hole, and it's not deep enough. They do get gunked up though. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Are you talking about? What are you referring to, Fly? I'm not too sure. Okay, so a little splash of water here. We'll take this, hold it like this. That's a Shapton, yes. Yeah, Shapton. Shapton do a bunch of stones. This is the these are the Shapton glass. They have a bunch of, they do a lot of good stones, I think. The criticism of these ones is that there's not actually that much sharpening stone, and so they'll run out quickly. But I'm using such small chisels that it's not really a concern for me. So we're just going to start here. Actually, I need this light, sorry. What time is it now? Jesus, we went half an hour just rambling. Hang on a second. This is 500, no wonder. I didn't need the 500. It felt like it was grating too much. The gunk I have experienced with Shapton. Are you talking about the slurry that the stone makes? Because the slurry is a good thing. I like the slurry. If that's what you're talking about, the slurry that the stone creates, I see it as a positive. The slurry makes it run really smoothly. So it doesn't take much. That's it. Maybe I can zoom in. So I've done it basically flat. Now I'm just rocking it a little bit to get a little bit of curvature in it, just at the ends. And that's good. That's all done. Typically what I'll do actually is I'll do all the knives on one stone. I'll put them all to the side, and then I'll cycle back through them. And usually I'd spit on this block, but I'm not doing that on camera. We'll just do them one by one. Ah, okay, okay. Um, yeah, I tend to take quite good care of my stones, and if I do forget to wash them or something, and the slurry dries, I just quickly with a diamond stone smooth it out. The key to this is locking your elbow in, locking your wrist in place, and just moving side to side. Get the flat done first, so you've got a nice front edge. Every carver is a little bit different. Some people have really rounded ice skis. If you see it going to one side, often what you'll get is like, often what you'll see if you're holding it wrong, you'll get like uh, the front edge will be angled like this. If that happens, just like counter it and go the other way. Sharpening bonsai shears takes a lot of practice. Yeah, this also takes a lot of practice. People often struggle to do these ice skis because you got to keep it kind of flat. Oh, like what I was saying, people often like lean one way and it's not flat. Um, I never really struggled with these. The only thing I really struggled with was the main carving knife, and I really struggled with it. Just clip the edge there. I did actually forget. I should have flattened the back of this before I did that first pass. So press this down. You don't want to put your fingers underneath. Can I position this a little better? Mm-hmm. You don't want to put your fingers underneath here and lift up. You just want to have your hand there to support it so it's not rocking like this. Lots of pressure on this one. Just support with this, back and forth. It's drying out a little bit. Water, a little bit slurry. A friend of mine sharpened a katana recently. Maintaining the angle across the large object was apparently a big challenge. Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. So this is the way I was taught to do it with one hand. Often I like to use two. But sometimes I'll do it like this. It's up to your personal preference. And you want a nice shiny edge on this. And this is where keeping your sharpening stone really nice and flat is really critical. I could have taken this a little bit further. You can see it's picking up a little bit more on the top edge. That could be because of pressure I'm giving, or it could be that this side was a little bit more dipped in than the other side. We'll check this out, see if we're getting the same thing happening. It always does pick up on the front a little bit. Can't even sharpen a pencil correctly. That's looking good. Quite frustrating not using spit. Just clipped a little bit more on one side. I got this side a little bit more. It's really nice and shiny. I just need to clip the other edge and then we're done on this. Show the angle. Yeah, that's a good point. Struggling to focus. Oh, come on. It doesn't want to focus. Maybe I can do it manually. Oh, I'm too close as well. Okay, there you go. There's the angle on it. If you go too acute, the knife will have the chisel will have a tendency to dig into the wood and want to go really deep if you've got a really sharp angle. And if you've got a really obtuse one, then it'll want to scoop off the surface. Everyone's going to be a little bit different on this. The angle that works for you. That's why I don't give you an angle here. I guess it's somewhere around a 45. I guess 90. Somewhere around a 30 or a 45. So yeah, if you find it's digging too deep, you need to make it more obtuse. If you find it's scooping off the surface and not going deep enough, you want to go a little bit more acute. That's the rule of thumb. Quick sharpen on the back. For something that you want to be really, really, really sharp, the best way to do it on these sharpening stones is you go on the back, you go like 30 times, and then you'll come on the front and you'll do the front quite a bit. And then you'll go on the other side and you'll just do 10 times, 10 times. So that I'm gradually getting like less and less. You hone that angle even nicer. But with these, I'm not really that fast, so I'm not going to do that step multiple times. But usually it's back, front, back, and that's enough. And then I'm just going to take the top angle off. Really gentle. 3 passes is enough. Just the corner. Okay, that's that one done. I can show you the finished piece. Wow, it's struggling with the light. My camera is hot. You can see it's kind of shiny there. I'm not worried too much about the front. You can see there where I've actually extended the blade, there's a line. That's because I kept sharpening like this and it's digging in there and then I've extended it. So that's actually, thinking about it now, you know, I noticed that it was pushing more on the tip. It was pushing more on the tip than the middle section. And that's because there's a slight step in the chisels there because I've extended it recently. So that explains it. Over time, they'll both balance out. It's not really a problem here. So they'll both balance out. And then on the back, I should have put it on autofocus for today. You can see. we've got a nice shiny edge there. One thing I will do, if you sharpen quite heavily and you take it back a lot, you'll get sharp corners here. My corners don't really need smoothing out, but you can see a little bit, I guess, that the corners are rounded out a little bit there. So there we go. That's the first one done. I'm not going to go into so much detail. I'm going to move a little bit quicker on the other ones, but we're basically going to do that a bunch of other times. Like I said, typically, oh, and another very important thing to do is once you're done, make sure it's dry. And since I'm not going to be using them, I have a little oil rag here. You can add that just to stop any rust. Then that goes back in the pack. Next done. This one. Oh, we didn't check it. We can check it on the wood. It blows the color out every time. Oh yeah, that feels great. That's good. So next one. Oh, this is very small. Is that tattoo on your thumb? Yeah. My name in... Oh, another thing I see other people doing that you really don't ever need to do is you don't need to sharpen the back of these on. The only case I might do it is with this one. Since there is a step, perhaps on an occasion, if the step is very egregious, I will do it on this. My step, it looks quite different because it's got really shiny on that top bit, but it's not a very big step. If the step is very big, then I will do it here sometimes, but basically never do I sharpen the back of this or any of my other knives on this. Occasionally with the larger chisels you need to do it, but mostly no. Dear sir, can you archive this episode to YouTube so you can rewatch this a million times? They are all archived. If someone could type in !Discord, you'll get a link to my archive channel. Do you have a huge gouge chisel? Yes, we're going to do them a little bit later. Yeah, so we never need to sharpen the back. I'm going to come here. And you'll notice as well that as I was doing that, I was moving up. I don't want to wear out any part of the stone. This slurry here, the metal, it helps sharpen it quicker. So I'm gonna use that slurry. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm gonna use this slurry to help me sharpen. Okay, I just wanted to show you how this happens. I put a little bit of an angle on it. Hopefully I can show this to you. Okay, if I get the light on this right. I should have put it in autofocus, you know. How can I show you this? It's not going to show, is it? Can you see? No, you can't tell. Ah, okay, you can tell a bit. Can you see that it's leaning a little bit to the right of the screen? I've angled it a little bit to the right of the screen. Because these are so small, they fix really easily. Okay, I'm not going to do that again because it's kind of tricky to see. But if that happens, so I've sharpened it one way, I'm just going to correct a little bit. So it's angled to this side, I'm going to lean it a little bit more this way. And that'll correct. And that's perfect. And then I just maintain that angle. I've gone a little bit too far, so I'm going to bring it back the other way a little bit. Now I'm just going to round off the corners a little bit by leaning, left, right, left. A little bit flat. So I'm just rocking it a little bit. Another way you can get that sort of curve in is to take bigger strokes. The wider you go on your strokes, the more you're going to tend to lean one way. So you don't really need to consciously think about it, just the action of doing it. What you have to consciously think about is to keep that flat over those longer strokes, like really like tense that lock in. Did you round off the edges of the blunt nose? Yeah, I round them off slightly. That's what I'm doing now. So first I got the flat edge straight, and then I rounded them off. And this is... I don't like them rounded much. Some people like them rounded a lot. Okay. And now I just got to smooth that out a little bit more. Cool. It's difficult to see. The rounding off I'm talking about is really quite slight. Can you see that there's a little bit of a rounding off there? Riptide, welcome in, first time chatter. So just a little bit. Okay, that's done. And in fact, I will do it the standard way. I'm gonna do this one. I'll do the next one. This is the one size down, just so we can save a bit of time. Otherwise, we'll be here all day. Check to make sure I'm straight. Cool. Straight, rounding, rounding, straight, 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 rounding, rounding. Smooth that out. That's good. So that's how long it usually takes. We'll do the next one. This one's even smaller. So we're going down in sizes. Straight, straight, straight. The smaller they get, the harder it is to get that perpendicular because you've got less metal there to keep it on that flat. Kind of difficult to read chat and lock in. But we're in the rhythm now. How is everyone doing? If you're doing your own carving, I'm guessing this is a pretty cool stream. But if you're not really doing your own carving, this is probably really dull. So it's just checking. Happy with that? Very well. Keep these in order. 1, 2, 3. Next one down. This is so helpful. When my knives get dull, I just throw them away and buy new ones. Yeah, Moonlight Surrender. It's pretty sharp content. Well done. Welcome to Twitch, the punniest place on the internet. You can see that it's actually getting more difficult to keep it completely perpendicular to the end of that. I feel like I need more practice before I can understand the nuance. Yeah, it's all about just doing. It's really difficult to explain like the rocking. The rocking is literally I put my attention to the left. I'm not if you like twist your hand widely like that, it's too much. Like often it's just like think to the left and you naturally sort of like tend to lean like that a little bit. And you tend to lean. Yeah, so it's just it's that. That's the extent of the rocking I'm doing. And it's really difficult to see that from watching this because it's moving all over the place. But like occasionally I'll think to the left and occasionally I'll think to the right. And just sort of lean my body in that way a little bit. This one's a little bit. Isn't that a lovely sound? Bobsledding Taran. What's going on? A bit more pressure because this isn't going into the direction I want it. So I'm just trying to get it flat first. There we go. Now I've got it where I want it on the flat. I'm just going to think left, think right, think left, think right. Done. I'm going to even smaller, 2 left. The first time I did these was fine. The first time doing the knife sharpening was really difficult. And basically everyone for about a year of doing it. Wow, incredible. Arigato, Papa-san. Thank you for the sub. I really appreciate it. How do I get this? Arigato. Who's going to beat me? I can't find it. Shrunk this window too small. I can't see it. Is it this one? No. Oh, arigato.
とてもサンキュー。
Ah, someone beat me. Chicken Meister, you got there first. Well done. I've shrunk the window on OBS really. I've shrunk the window really small, so I can only see like 2 of them. The third symbol I can't see. These small ones go really, really quickly. And they basically don't need any rocking, these little ones. That's it. I will turn this around though, so we can even out the stone. What means redeemed? Just means used, spent. You build up the chips, you spend the chips. Last one. What time we're about an hour. Cool. That's that done. Done all the ice ski on that one. I'm going to move back over to this. We've got an ad starting in 2 minutes. Holy moly, there's a skinny chisel. Yeah, I'll show you how we make that so skinny. So we've got these in order, starting from the big one again. Ooh, so dry over here. There we go. So we can see that we're getting a really even graying pattern here. Turn the light off for a second, maybe you can see it. You can see it's a really smooth graying pattern. That's what we want. The reason we didn't get that on the last one was because there was that bump, because I'd extended it. There's your proof. So I was a little bit worried that I hadn't flattened my stone enough, which is really not very good. You need a really quite flat stone for doing the backs of these ice skis. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ma kongurai? So how's the playlist coming along? I haven't really added much to it. I added a couple songs yesterday. We're working on it. We've got about 5 hours on it at the moment. But I sort of just added a bunch of stuff in random. I want to, like, if we come across a song that doesn't really match the vibe, then we'll remove it. What have I got planned for this weekend? My son has his first sort of, well, not his first event. We had an event before, but I think it's like a matsuri. They have a little mikoshi, I think, of some sort, and the kids will be doing the, you know, the wa shoi, carrying the shrine thing. I think that they'll have something like that. Each class is something a little different. He is in the nursery class, so I'm not really sure what they're going to be doing. He's 1, so he's not really going to be... He's only just learned to walk, I think. Putting a shrine on his shoulder might be a little bit ambitious. I think the older kids will be doing that. Teeny Mikoshi, yeah. I'm really not sure what's going to happen, how long it will be. I just follow the instructions. Saturday, we have this, okay. And then on Sunday or Saturday, I'm signing up for the pool again. I'm signing up for the pool again. I was swimming every day when I was living in Akabane. Then I moved out here and it's not really convenient. It's not very close. And so I haven't been swimming. And I've got into sort of working overdrive. And I'm trying to get healthy, and I've been doing yoga, but it's not really enough. I was really enjoying the swimming. I was constantly getting like nose infections. So hopefully this new pool I'm going to be joining this weekend is going to be a little bit better. I saw Dave was talking about swimming, and I've been thinking about it. And I really enjoy like all that fine, like tweaking your technique and stuff. That break ends in 2 seconds. God. No pool stories. I'll be giving you no pool stories. Don't worry. This is my pool story. I'm joining a pool. Just that tip. Smeagol, if you speak exclusively in Chinese, I have no idea what you're talking about, you know. Schedule all helps with being consistent. No pool stories. No, no, no. There'll be none. Unless it's something really dramatic. But I really enjoyed it. And I got into really good shape when I was swimming. Interesting. This one, I've got the angle a little bit shallower. And I can feel the difference immediately from the last one. It's really nice and sharp, getting nice clean. But I can feel it's like digging into the wood slightly more. But I'm happy with that. Let's put that away. When we start, maybe at 45, if we haven't finished at 45, I'll switch over to the U gouges just because I think it's more interesting. This is all sort of the same now. I've got a bunch of chisels. There's a couple of things I want to show you this. Thank you for the translation. I'm curious, is Spiegel from China? Are you just learning Chinese? Is it Mandarin? It's laughing in Mandarin, thank you. Good for a t-shirt. What the ha ha ha, Mandarin ha ha? How would you pronounce that? That's the other thing. You can type exclusively in Chinese, but you have to teach me what they mean first, and then I can understand. I was like, hey, 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 hey. My wife is from China. I've been learning Mandarin for over 5 years. How is it going? How is your Mandarin now? Wow, you're pretty good with your kanji. Do you live in China or how is it compared to Zauma? Wakan. I like this song. Do I have any other news for you? I didn't write any notes this morning. I didn't dry off the last one either. You got to be careful. The slurry tends to build up inside here. So if you're careless, you can take these caps off and wipe inside. I'm not going to do that now. Okay, we're getting smaller now. This one I think is still okay. Climbing wall? What about the climbing wall? Is that an internal conversation or are you asking me something? The climbing wall, he's good. He's still using it, so it's not one of those toys you buy kids and it just ends up sitting there. Which is good because it was quite expensive to make. Didn't need tissue. It's starting to become a little tricky now to stop this from rocking. Rocking's bad because we'll get a rounded bottom here. We want that bottom to be really flat. So one thing you can do is add lots of pressure so it's not rocking and take long strokes. And it's on the changing of direction, it will often roll and slide over. So you want to be really careful on that change, otherwise it'll roll there. There is a tip, something you can use. This is a little piece of wood. I don't always use the same piece. This is just the last one I made. I always have big wood chips and I just cut them to a bit. It's a little bit thin. Ideally, I'd have a little bit of a thicker piece of wood and you just put that on top. And the idea is that the groove holds the knife in place. So you can use that to keep it flat. But this piece of wood is a little thin and it's not putting the wood completely flat. So I've got to be careful. I've got to press that down on the back. It's drying out so quickly today, quite frustrating. A young man's first jug. We'll see if it's his first of many or if he wants to be an actor. That's nice and smooth, so we can move on. Yeah, compared to the last one, I can already feel that my angle is a little bit different. Bish. Can I maybe do one aiming sideways so you can see more of the hand? Oh, it's a little bit cramped, yeah. Struggling to get the angle. What do you do if the tip of your main knife chips? Move to the 500. So if the tip chips, depending on the size of the chip. Sometimes you can get away on the 1000. If it just feels a little dull, I'll go to the sharpening stone. After a couple times of that, you really need to go to the 1000, touch it up again, and then come back to the sharpening stone. If you get a big chip or you want to change the angle, which sometimes I do, I tend to keep a couple different angles, but if I'm doing some hair carving, I need to bring that bevel a lot further back. I'll take to the 500 or 400 or 300, somewhere around there, just a coarse stone. Change the profile of the angle and then sharpen again. Okay, that's good. Bring it closely so you guys can see. Is that okay? Is that a little rounded? A slight rounding to it. It'll be okay, just next time I need to get it a little bit flatter. You can see that because the light is moving over like that there's a very slight rounding to it. No, no, no. You want it completely flat. When the light hits it, it should just... You'll see it in a line. You won't see it sort of curve over like that. Very slightly. What time are we on? 45. I'll do this last one, and then I've just got the little needle ones. Let's move on. Let's just do the smallest one now. The other two is just the same. Right, this one is the most tricky. And I need another piece of wood. So just before I grab this piece of wood, I use the chisel. I'm not focused. I used the chisel and just dug in a little groove. Can you see it? So I actually use this one. I've just sharpened it, so I'm not going to do it now because it'll break the edge. But I just push through. And then you can also use the edge of the sharpening stone to create that V. And this one's a little bit bent. I haven't got a thick enough piece to hand at the moment. But this one being bent means that I can press either side and hold it. So you can see it being so thin, how tricky that is going to be to... It just wants to fall on its side because it's a much wider edge. So a piece of wood on top. A little bit tricky. Okay, that's nice and flat. Just focus that tip a little bit more. Okay, so for this one, I don't really need to do this now, but I wanted to show you guys. These are the same chisels, the same diameter blades, but one of them looks much thinner than the other. It's kind of tricky for you guys to see. I should have used the macro lens for this. It's too bright. Let me turn the light off just for a second. So what I've done, I've taken it and I place it on its side like this. And you can use the wood for this as well to keep it flat. And I've sharpened the side of it this way and this way. I'm not sharpening it completely flat though. I'm sharpening it into a V. So when I'm sharpening this way, I'm leaning backwards. It's really tricky for you guys to see because it's so thin. So the side of it, I'm leaning, this is the flat bottom. If I turn it like this, I want it to V towards the back of the blade. There are jigs, yeah, that you can use. But you can see that like I really don't need them. I just need to be a little bit careful. A piece of wood is doing the same thing as a jig. Setting up the jigs, I think, well, I know people are having some success with them. It's a bit of water. Lock that arm in place. And then do the other side. And then it'll taper down to the bottom. It'll take a little bit of time to get that right, but you want it to taper down to the bottom. It's like it's sharp on the back here. We'll round that off after. And you just come to the front as usual. And typically I do the side profiling on a sharper stone, like on the 1000. I find this smallest one is actually a little bit easier to keep flat. One, it takes a lot of, because it's so thin, there's not much metal touching the stone. It takes a lot of material off quick because all that pressure is focused on that bit. And the other thing is that it's so thin that your finger pressing into the top of it kind of like deforms and makes a groove. So your finger kind of turns into that little wooden jig I made. But you can then feel if it's rotating. The problem with the wooden jig is you don't have the sensory input that you do when you just got your finger on it. So you can't feel if it's trying to roll. Can't imagine ever carving a level of finesse that requires a chisel this small. There are there are there are little there are times when it's very useful. I actually use this one a lot. I did this one, I believe. Is this the one I broke? Back in my early days when I was sharpening, I applied too much pressure, and maybe there was a bad piece of steel, but probably I was just not very good. And I applied too much pressure and it bent one way, and I tried to adjust it by pulling it back. Because it's really thin, I snapped like a whole section like this off. And so I think that this is the chisels that's very short. I have it somewhere as well. I kept it as like, don't you ever do that again. But yeah, it doesn't require much. Oh, oh, wait a second. I think I've got a wood delivery. No, we'll do it later. Come on, come on, come on. I have some wood blocks coming later. They're supposed to be coming this morning. I don't know. I didn't hear any. I was an 0800 number, so I think probably it's just one of those calls like trying to sell you stuff. Panic over. I completely forgot about the delivery. That's done. Let's do some U-gouges. I got 2 more to do, but I think you've seen enough of that. Kind of repetitive. If you have any questions now, please let me know. We're going to do one of the U-gouges now. Hello, would you like to buy some wood? No, not selling me wood. Selling me like insurance and stuff like that. So this is U-gouge. Someone was asking about gouges. I use mostly flat chisels. I have some larger U-gouges, and then I have 2 U-gouges. I have this one, and I have this one. These are the only gouges I use. I don't use a V-gouge. Let's change the profile of this. These Marunomi are a little bit trickier. I think it's Fly was talking about it. The slurry that builds on. It sort of sticks to the shapton. Okay. Maybe I can show this up close first before we get started. Let focus. No. There we go. Difficult to explain unless you can see it properly. I think this side here is a little bit protruding too much. I want to get a smoother curve. No, you can't really see. I can show you on a big one. So this is the profile I'm trying to create. I want a nice rounded, smooth the whole way around, and I want it to curve up at the corners. I don't want sharp corners. You can see I curve it up at the corners here. That's because when you use these U-gouges, you often turn them to the side, away from the lines. And so if they've got a sharp corner, when you do that, they'll dig in and they'll run through the wood. So I want to be able to use them at different angles like this. That's why I take the sides off. And to do that, these are quite tricky on these smaller ones. But we're going to find the angle first. And I'm going to do it in 3 or 4 main steps. A bullnose U-gouge. No, this is just a standard U-gouge. A bullnose as in it's rounded off. Yeah, I get it. So I'm going to sharpen like this in circular motions. I'm going to do a middle section and a left section, a back section. But I'm going to do them at different bits. So this is just rocking back and forth like this while I'm going side to side. Everything's locked. The elbow comes out here. So when we're doing the ice skate, the elbow locks in and it's just side to side. This time the elbow's coming out to create that rocking motion, but the wrist's still locked in place, and I'm trying to keep that elbow on a line. So we're just going to do these in sections. So the middle section. On this side, I want to go a little bit heavier, so you'll see me do more on the left side than I will on the right side than I will on the left. I should move these windows like that so I can see if there's one coming. Okay. I can see the front door from here now. I want to move this towards the edge. Then I can angle my hand lower here because the table's not in the way. And the thing about going up the edges So up here, my angle is quite tall, and as I get down to the edges, my angle is getting quite low. Aligning it slightly to the left. I'm not sure what you mean aligning it slightly to the left. That might be because I'm trying to put pressure on this side because I want to smooth out this side a bit more. From where I'm looking at it, because I need to take quite a bit off. Let me just get this side down to the profile I want before we start smoothing things out. Good, good, good. Now this section. Maybe I can angle the camera up a little bit more so you can see more of my hand motions. Okay, now I'll smooth out that corner a little bit more. A little bit more. Give me a second just to correct this, then I can explain things a little bit better. Now the other side just to balance it out. A little bit more on angle needed there. Okay, now I fixed that angle, I can show you what the standard process is. Start in the middle, rocking side to side. I'm just going that first, maybe like 2 mils in the middle. Just that. Happy with that. Then I'm going to move over to this side and I'm just going to do this section. And it helps if you want to find that motion you want to be doing. Were you taught this way by your teacher, Taryn? Yeah. So you want to feel where you've got already. If you've already got a nice profile and you want to maintain that profile, you can just sort of feel it. And then you want to try and match that. Just rocking side to side. My head's sort of giving you the direction I can show you. And you want to smooth over that section there between the two sections. Back to the center just to smooth that bit out. Looking good. And then over to the other side. Done. Just one section there. What you will get, and you have to be careful about this, is that maybe I can draw a picture. So you're creating this smooth view. Oh, you can't see. Let's turn this off. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. You can't see. Let me get it down. So you're creating this smooth view. And if you linger on one bit a little too much, if we're looking from a top-down view, so this is the front on, let's do a top-down view. I'll go like this. So if you linger on one spot too much, you'll get a little bump like that. The line will go in a little bit. We don't want any of these bits. So if you see that, then you just come and you file this bit. That's what I just saw there. I saw like a little bump coming in. So I smoothed over this edge and brought the profile a little bit further back. So now I'm happy with that on this one. I'm going to move over to the finishing stone. I think we're coming up on time. Oh, we're over time. Let me just show you this quickly. I don't mind going over a little bit if you guys are okay. If you need to go, then scoot off. That's all good. I'm going to finish this one. If you have any questions, throw them in now. So middle section done, over to the left. Move over that middle section. Back to the other side. Move over that section. Just take a look at the edge and you'll see if there's any like ridges or any bits that don't look very smooth. It's not perfectly smooth yet. I haven't done the final smoothing. Final smoothing, you'll just go and hold it around, slowly rotating it along the whole blade. Maybe you'll feel areas that need a little bit more. Reposition your hand at any point. Just carry on. And check. So this side seems fine. This side doesn't need any more. But this middle section to the left side needs a bit of extra work to get that transition smooth. And I think that's probably it done. That's that done. And now we need to quickly switch over and do the inside. Personally, I have some for my camping. I think I'm missing a conversation here. Bedtime for me. Take it easy. Take it easy. Ah, Chips, that's me. That's my message. So I have a bag here with lots of little sharpening stone offcuts that I've used the diamond stone to round into U-gouge shapes. This is my one for this one, so this is the stone I need. So I'm going to take, which side is it? Oh, I've done it on both sides. So I'm going to take this slurry, put it on the stone. We can add a bit more like that. How can I show you without getting my hand in the way? I need to hold this in place. Maybe I can hold it from the back. Okay, cool. Place that on. Make sure we're in focus. And then run it up and down. Try not to do this. Straight forward and backwards. Sometimes you need a little bit more extra room. I'm just about at the limit here. You can pull this blade out a little bit just to do this work, and then you can place it back in after. But I've got enough here. It doesn't need a big movement. Forward and back. These little shards, they take a little bit of time to prepare. Must sign off. Okay, thank you for showing up. I'm glad it was useful to some of you. We'll be signing off in a minute or two now. Yeah, you can see these U-gouges take a little bit of extra time, especially when you're changing the geometry a little bit. I'm happy with that. Doesn't need much. I'm just going to quickly polish this edge once more, just in case we got a burr from the inside there. And the very last thing I'm going to do is I've got quite a sharp angle where the bevel meets the black. I'm just going to round off that, being careful not to touch the edge I've just sharpened onto the rock. And you can do this however you want, little circles or sideways motions. However works for you. You just want to smooth those over. Okay, I think we're good. Is there any alternative to like a small file? I think a file wouldn't be good. I know there's sandpapers and stuff. You could use dowel and a piece of sharpening sandpaper. That would work. Yeah, Blackfish is on the same idea. one of these chips is actually, I think, from it was quite thick in the corner when that slate piece peeled off when I reached an imperfection in the stone. One of them. This is the other kind of stone I was talking about. I have it here. I turn the light off, you'll be able to see the color difference. This is for one of the larger ear gouges. Okay. It's not super grey actually. But you can see here there's a range of the different colors you can get. Some of them are quite pale, some of them are quite orange. The color balance is awful. So that one's quite orange. This one's quite grey pale. Something more towards this. This is actually quite a nice piece. And this is for my very large, slightly curved U gouges, flat gouges. There's basically nothing on it. I just took this one on a diamond stone and rocked it a little bit as I was sharpening to create that. And then I put my chisel on top, matched it, drew with a pencil where I needed to sharpen down. I think we're okay there. Let me show you a final look at this one. I can get the oiling paper. Nice and shiny inside. Nice and rounded here. We can test it. Wow. Lovely. Nice, nice, nice. I think we'll stop there. I got a couple more I need to sharpen. I'll do them off stream. They were just the flat ones. Hopefully this stream was quite helpful to some of you. Let's see if we've got any raids. Bit of a sort of analytical stream today and maybe not much interesting chat, but they swing both ways. Sometimes it's all chat and other times it's all technique. Let's see if we've got any raids. Just flip over to the stream manager. Followings, if there's anyone. Someone suggested this streamer on a different day. They look like they do digital art. They're called Yoshiwo. I think they're Japanese. I did check out one of their streams before. I think we'll go there today. We haven't been there yet before. You guys can maybe practice some Japanese. I do think they speak English. Let's send a raid over there. Thank you all. Yeah, arigato, arigato. Take care. I will see you again on Tuesday. We'll be working on the bonsai block again. She normally does kirie. Oh, okay, cool. I think she's doing digital art today. You guys can go and say hello. Please be nice. Yeah, that's it. See you guys later. Arigatou gozaimasu. Bye-bye. Send me questions if you have any questions in the Discord of things I didn't cover. Hi, arigatou. Bye-bye.